Well. Testing. 1, 2, 3. As per usual, let me just do all my freaking audio checks. Listen, we're gonna survive these missile strikes because I'm adaptable. But the one thing I can't adapt to is figuring out this freaking streaming technology. Testing. Okay, I think it's a little too loud, yeah? Something like this. Jesus. Okay, you guys will tell me. You sound great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, DTK. Well, everyone, thank you for being here. Happy 134th day of streaming. Oh, you all didn't think this day would come, but here I am, rising from the ashes of all these missile strikes. Now, I am, by the way, the type of person that makes light of serious moments, so just kind of, let's have that disclaimer. So if I make one too many jokes about explosions and bombs and stuff, just know that's my way of coping, okay? It's not you, it's me. But thank you guys for being here. It's been a wonderful few days. It's also been a very crazy few days, for sure. Yeah, because I do live in Dubai. So who would have thought? Who would have thought, right? That the world would come right towards us in different ways. But you know, it is what it is. Welcome, DTK. Thank you for saying hello. And by the way, DTK, and also a bunch of you guys, I do appreciate my friends, acquaintances, family, of course, people who've reached out to me just to ask if I'm doing okay. It is very heartfelt, or, you know, I don't know what the right word is, but it's nice to know people do care, right? So thank you guys for all those messages. So thank you, DTK. You said yay a few times. What else? You said, there you are, you sound great. Thank you. That's crazy. Glad you're okay. Well, I'm glad I'm okay too. And thank you over on Twitch. We had Franz. I don't know how to say the name properly, but we had shout out to Francie. I'm just going to call you Francie or Frank. Thank you for saying hi, popping into the chat. We are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So wherever you're tuning in, I mean, thanks for being here. It is what it is. All right. So today's going to be maybe like a shorter stream. Let's call it like a couple, 2 to 3 hours, something like that. I'm not exactly sure yet. We're going to take it in stride. And obviously depends on if we get more missiles coming our way. But yeah, man, what a crazy time to be alive. Dubai is not that big, okay? So as far as like geographically speaking, not that I know the actual, the numbers, but it's a tiny place, okay? And so when something happens in one part of Dubai, you're going to know about it in the other parts, or even in the neighboring Emirates. So, yeah, when everything started going down, what was it, like Saturday? Yeah, it was kind of crazy to me that you could actually, well, okay. I don't even know where to start, okay? Shit is wild. That's what we'll start with. Yo, Fed, thanks for being here. Fed says howdy, and you said the Iranian government is a joke, so it makes sense to make fun of their actions, even if they are scary. I mean, like I said, I make fun of these things regardless. I very much don't know the limits. I see a line, but maybe I'm line blind. You know, some people are colorblind. I am blind to the line, which is where you shouldn't, you shouldn't cross it when it comes to joking about serious matters and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying there, Fed. I actually know someone who lives in Iran, and you know, like, not that they can share a lot of what goes on there, but it's kind of clear without always having to say the words, because you just don't know what gets monitored or what can be misconstrued, and I don't want to do anything that would, you know, endanger my friend there, but you do get the sense that things are, you know, listen, things are really rough all over the world. So here I am in my little bubble that's being pierced by these little missiles coming at us. And even with all of that said, it's like life is so much crazier all over. So I take it in stride, but it's just with a level of appreciation that I can enjoy the life that I have. But yeah, so it's crazy time, guys. I didn't think anything would happen here. And 2 days ago, I guess it was, I only heard, sorry, when I say heard, I mean like I saw online that there were a few explosions in our neighboring Emirate, Abu Dhabi. and that there was maybe something that happened near where I used to live, which is kind of crazy. In one of the neighborhoods that I used to live in, there was something, I think they intercepted a missile, so you can see it. Like, if you stare straight up, you would actually see it got intercepted above this neighborhood. But I didn't hear anything. So it's just still kind of one of those things where it doesn't really hit home that something's right impacting you. And then, how many, I think it was like 3 explosions in a row where you hear the first one. Well, I just heard something now, but that could have just been my cats for all I know. You hear an explosion, and then it takes you a moment to register what that was. Then the second blast came like fairly close after it, and a few seconds after that blast, my entire building shook. Like the windows were rattling and everything. It was kind of intense. It reminded me of back in my SF days, because I didn't grow up in San Francisco. I just stayed there for a few years for work. When I experienced my first earthquake, that was like kind of a crazy experience, right? You just didn't know the world could do that. You didn't know the earth can shake and rattle everything. So it was kind of like one of those moments that hit where it was a bit crazy. And then the third explosion, like there's like a blast basically. And so you can hear it, but you can almost like feel it, like the vibrations of the blast. So yeah, like there was about 3 blasts initially, and then things kind of calmed down for a bit. And by the end of the day, I lost count, but it was like roughly maybe like 10 explosions. You know what? I felt 2 blasts while I was taking a shower. And I had this whole I chatted about it with some people before, but when the blast happened and I'm taking a shower, I had this thought where I was like, you know what? Let's say if a missile hits, God forbid or whatever, right? If it hits me and I die in the shower, I think I can accept that. I can accept being killed while taking a shower. What I will never accept is dying on the porcelain throne. If I die taking a shit, I don't think I could ever live that down in the afterlife. I feel like I would need to somehow crawl my way out of the bathroom before I died, just to at least give the illusion that I wasn't sitting on the toilet. You know what I mean? There's like a limit to where I would say, this is not the way I'm going to go. So anyways, I had that random thought as I was taking a shower and everything like shaking around and stuff. But the weird thoughts you have, in those moments. Fed says, nothing is off limits. It's like how an undertaker might make jokes about death and dead bodies. Yeah, exactly. Listen, I say these things. I'm just, generally speaking, I have fairly dark humor, and I just kind of roll with it that way. But I have to be mindful that yes, there are limits to things, and I should probably just be more mindful. Because it's like, look, people do get hurt. People are dying from this incident as well. And just because I'm a part of it in my own tiny little way doesn't necessarily give me carte blanche to just kind of be offensive or say things, that maybe hits the wrong way. So anyways, those are some random thoughts that I've been dealing with. So yeah, happy Monday is what I meant to say. Wow, right? Hopefully everyone else had a good weekend. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. I'm very much like a silver lining kind of guy. So usually I will find I'll find the good even in the worst of circumstances. It's just like, I think it's a bit second nature to me. Actually, I just filmed an episode. Hello, Beatty. Thank you for being here. Hello, Beatty. Hope all is well. You said, hope you're staying safe. Well, thank you very much. I hope I stay safe too, But I've also explained this to a few of my buddies who've also reached out, where it's like, listen, thank you for your concern, but I am not that special. I'm not special enough to be struck by a missile, okay? Like, it's in the same way that I'm not special enough to be in that plane that crashes or to win the lottery. The odds are never in my favor for that, okay? Let's just be real. I am just like one of you guys living life, doing the best we can, okay? So if only I could be that special to be killed in a missile strike is what I'm trying to say in my own crude way. So it's like one of those, like, look, I'm not special enough to have something crazy like that happen to me. And if it's something crazy like that does happen to me, at least I'll die knowing that I was special. Like, oh, damn, I guess I did win the lottery, or I guess maybe the death lottery in that case. But So yeah, but thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Beatty. Happy Monday. It is now almost 8 p.m. my time. So I did start the stream a little bit late today. I think just with all the nonsense and all the craziness of the past few days, I've been a little bit behind on just catching up on a few things. But like I said, today I did film an extra episode, another episode of the Behind the Lens series. We've already launched 2 of them. A third one is coming out in 2 days. And that one is already scheduled to come out. So even if, God forbid, I die before then, you will still be able to see the video. Wow. You know, I should just like what's the term called in YouTube where you schedule in advance? Yeah. I think I should just schedule my videos in advance, right? Because even I guess what I do, it's not necessarily dangerous, but I do travel the world quite a bit. And you never know. Maybe an elephant's going to maul me to death, or a gorilla. Oof, that would be a way to go, right? Get into a fight with a silverback. And so maybe I should schedule videos in advance. So even if my life ends, the channel will persist. So, Fed says Dubai might be small, but it's not that small. Still small chance. Yeah, listen, I know I'm making light of it. Obviously, you know, like I said, it is small enough that even if they target some part of Dubai that's maybe, you know, quite far, like a 30-minute drive from me, it doesn't mean that it won't necessarily impact me. And like I said, I have friends and family here, and obviously just in general, like you don't want people to suffer. So yeah, I feel like I need an overlay to pop up on here that just constantly says disclaimer of like, I am joking, you know, but I do not want to make light of blah, 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 blah. But I won't stop. I'm just gonna stop saying that, you know, it's gonna get tiring. Fed says a chance of crashing in a car is probably still larger. Yeah, that's what I remember back in the day. They used to say like the chance of a plane crash are actually like infinitesimally smaller than the chance of dying in a car accident. Yo, Aurora. Aurora is here saying hi. Nice to see you're well. When I heard that there was an impact in Dubai, I thought of you. Thank you very much. Because I remember you live there. I life there as well. Can I have your channel? DTK, man, you can have my channel. It's not that big, okay? We're comfortably sitting on about, what, 9,500, okay? Which I'm very proud of. I'm very grateful that we've achieved a number. I'm hoping to hit that 10K before I die, okay? And I wish YouTube would give a prize, or I know they give those little plaques for real achievements, but they should give like a participation award for that 10K mark. But yeah. If we hit it, you can have it. Beatty says, but I'm all right. Had to go to Miami for work this weekend for a shoot, and then now back home here in New York City. Nice, man. I'm glad to see you're always busy, and I feel like that's good. You know, in this time, in this era of all the craziness, to be busy is a good thing. So hopefully you're not too jet lagged or too exhausted, though. That seems like, I guess you wouldn't be jet lagged, Miami, NYC, but hopefully you're not too tired. It sounds like a lot of good stuff. I will also be starting to travel very soon, in about a couple weeks. I think I've got about 4 to 5 projects lined up. I do need to catch up on things outside of stream to make sure I don't miss the mark on stuff. Today's stream, I might do a little bit of that kind of gear list and packing and getting ready for some of these trips. Otherwise, I might just do a bit of light photo editing and video editing. You know, the usual stuff. But yeah, it's kind of weird, okay? I don't know how to feel. Today's kind of weird. Well, okay, look, I kind of put on a face as if like I don't really care. I actually genuinely don't think I care that much about the concept of death or like dying. I think I don't want to die a painful death. Like I don't think any of us want that. But in terms of like, have I lived a good life? Have I done unto others as you want done to you, or whatever the golden rule is? It's like, yeah, generally speaking, I think I've had more positive effect than good or than negative. And so if it's time to go, it's time to go. But when you hear those explosions, when those blasts shake your building, it does kind of shake you from that hubris, from that kind of that macho of like, yeah, I can survive everything. And you do have that moment of like, holy shit, this is real. But anyways, Aurora said, Aurora says a friend is also there for vacation, and he said he can't leave because the whole airport is closed. Yeah, I've seen some of the videos. A buddy of mine, he and his wife were traveling outside of Dubai. I think they were doing like a ski trip and everything, and they literally were supposed to board their plane, or they're at the airport ready to go back to Dubai. And then the first explosions, the first missiles hit. And so they're like, you know, obviously Dubai closed down their entire airspace. So then they got stranded over on the other side of things, and now they're staying in Greece where they're originally from, and hoping that things calm down. But yeah, crazy times. Hopefully your friend is okay. I imagine they might be nervous or scared. But you know what? Like I said, there's always good in the bad. And if there's one thing that seems to stand out is in Dubai, the UAE, they announced that like for the 20,000 plus people that have been stranded in Dubai, like because the flights closed, everything closed down, they were basically saying to all the hotels that basically said like, keep all these guests, these passengers, we will pay for everything. And I think that's really, obviously that's very, I don't know, kind is the wrong word, but that's great that they're doing that. And to think about all the logistics of like setting everyone up with the proper visas to extend their time in Dubai, stay at the hotels, pay for all the food and all the inconveniences and everything else that's coming. So I think like, I don't know if other countries around here are doing the same thing, but I thought that was at least a positive of, they're doing something to help people when they're stressed and in a really terrifying situation. So yeah, anyways, good with the bad. Iran is probably close to being out of missiles now anyway, says Fed. They used most of their arsenal a while back before all this. Look, I am not a geopolitical... Wait, no, let me say that word again. I was going to say politician. Is there such thing as a geopolitician? I am not a geopolitical expert. So, don't take anything I say with any level of seriousness or like that I know anything. I only see what I see in the news, and I do try my best to pay attention. It does feel like things are a bit insane, but it's kind of like this weird situation where you cut off the head of the chicken type thing or the head of the snake. But in this case, it's like the way that the body will lash out, you just don't know. It becomes unpredictable. And like I think proof is in the fact that why would Iran be striking Dubai, right? I don't even think there's a U.S. presence here in terms of like airspace, or I don't think US has a headquarters in Dubai. I think in Abu Dhabi. I'm not sure about Dubai. Point is, like, why are you targeting like these civilian infrastructures? Why are you targeting all these other neighboring GCC countries? It doesn't make sense, except for the fact that it is like this kind of you chop off the head of the snake and it's just lashing out at anything, right? And so if anything, it feels a bit more nerve-wracking because yeah, it's like there's a time when you had this level of leadership, at least you knew that they would try to act in a sane way. But now without any of that leadership, you're kind of like, what are these factions going to do? So that does actually give me a little bit of pause in the sense of like, oh, no, it's Dubai, it should be safe. That gives me pause because like, who knows, man? All it takes is one crazy person who says, I don't care, I'm taking the ship down with me type of a mentality. And so, yeah. DTK says it's so big. Hopefully Air Room is open till... Aurora, you said Air Room again. I've never heard this word before. When you say Air Room, is that like a... Where are you from again? Is that like some terminology for airport? The Air Room. I like it. Or you run into the same problem. Fed says it's good they have some time to fix the airport before you are traveling. Yeah, you know what? I did think about that. I was like, thank goodness. Actually, yeah, so I don't know if Kavai is going to be in the chat today, but... If you guys know, I've been trying to plan a trip to Norway, and if that trip had gone through, if all the logistics and everything worked out, I was supposed to be traveling in like 2 days' time. I was going to be flying out on the 4th of March so that I can get there in time for that big dog sledding festival, and then do my dog sledding expedition for like 4 to 6 days or something like that. So I guess it's a good thing I didn't plan for that, because chances are, I mean, let's be real, it's probably not safe right now to travel. But it is a thought, it is a concern as well. Not to be selfish about it, but it is my own life. But there's a thought of like, oh, I wonder if things will open up by the time I need to travel for some other projects, which are coming up. It'll be coming up in the middle to end of March. So, but yeah, that's a selfish part of me. Obviously, there are bigger things at play than my puny little interest in life. DTK says, want to check out my video? I put in the video in the Discord. Yeah, let's check it out. Just give me a second. I'm obviously just kind of digesting. But yeah, let's check it out. Oh, is it from the video I sent? Nice. BD says, no, definitely not jet lag, especially since I decided to stay in NYC, mostly for the foreseeable future. Kind of not loving LA at the moment. What's wrong with LA? Wait, what's going on in LA? Also, I took my little pill, the drugs that my mom gave me, but I still feel congested. Chronic allergies, man. It's not cool. It's not right. Why? Why do I have to suffer through this? I hope I'm not allergic to my cats. That would be just hilarious. Give me a second here. It's definitely a Fed says because they are delusional, thinking that would make the other nations join and fight in the West. They are a bit nutty. Yeah, and there's nothing worse than being around someone who's psychotic, you know? That is one thing I remember from my time in San Francisco. Holy shite. You know, sometimes people, and I have so much sympathy for people who are homeless, but it doesn't take away from the reality when you're living in San Francisco, and it happens to everyone. It's just like a running joke, right? But it happened to me at least a couple times where you're just walking on one of the random streets and there's a homeless person, and unfortunately there's a huge correlation between like being homeless and being like mentally unwell, right? There's like a strong correlation between the two. And so at least a couple times you'd be walking on the street and a homeless guy would be on the street, and as you pass them, they go nuts. Like, it's just unpredictable, but like they would start screaming at you, like literally running right up to you and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like when you're around someone who is mentally maybe unpredictable, you become more wary. And so that's how I do feel currently with the situation in Iran. Aurora says it's definitely a mistranslation from my mother tongue. I love that phrase, the mother tongue. I think airspace is correct. Listen, we'll go with air room. You know, it sounds kind of cool. It's airspace in English, I think, but in many languages it's air room or similar. Okay. In Norwegian, it's luftrum. Luftrum. Air room or airspace. Okay. Look, we're learning stuff. The drugs of thine mother. Yes, yes, have kept me alive. Now here I am. Where are my freaking cats? You know, look at these guys. Where are they? Nobody over here. Oh, look. Wait, can I refocus? They're both hanging out on my little workout bench. Okay, see, they're part of the stream, just a bit farther away. Give me a second. I want to refocus this. What are they doing over there? They're just hanging out. Oh man, last night they actually cuddled together and fell asleep together. It was a nice moment because that rarely happens. So, you know, listen, you win some, you lose some. Maybe it was the missile strikes and they're like, okay, that's too scary. We gotta stick together, us siblings. BD says, yeah, just really don't appreciate how LA something or the rest of your how LA is politically at the moment in inaction of many different issues. I hear you. I know I don't really talk much about political stuff per se, but listen, times are wild, right? This whole situation with Iran, right? Everything revolves around the U.S. We are the center of the world, like it or not. But yeah, I hear you. Before Fed says, oh, and not fighting. Yeah, they weren't fighting. They were actually just kind of cuddling there. Let's go back to that camera. Where are you? Look at these guys. What are they doing over there? What the heck? Before, one cat was on the kitchen corner. Oh, yeah. I think I heard one of them was eating some food. BD said, for real, cats against Iran united. Yeah. My cats are apolitical, okay? They only care about the politics of food and more food. All right, give me a second because I really do need to freaking blow my nose. It's so annoying. So let me hit the BRB scene. Thank you guys for being here. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like the video. You know, I have to keep reminding myself to remind you guys to do that because I'm assuming it actually does help. So we accept all the help we can as a small streamer. Fez says that's what happens when you have the largest military force by far. Aurora says, wait, you feed them on top of the kitchen corner? I feed one of them on the kitchen corner. So Nala, I feed over there. And then Kimbap, I feed on the floor over there. Basically, Kimbap has a problem. He has many problems. Oh my god, over the weekend, I took my freaking cat to the emergency. Oh, I totally forgot that story as well. So like imagine the whole day of like explosions and bombs going off and everything. So you're already kind of on edge. And then I went for drinks with a buddy of mine, which is also kind of funny because we went to a neighborhood where apparently one of the debris or shrapnel caused an explosion. So kind of ironic, but yeah, so I decided let's drink to the end of the world. So I caught up with a friend of mine at a bar and then definitely got a bit tipsy. And then when I got home, I decided to watch a movie and I had some Dubai chocolate. Okay. Every good story has Dubai chocolate involved, I would like to believe. I had the Dubai chocolate. I wasn't paying attention. This is my fault. But I could hear in the side as I'm watching the movie some kind of noise. Oh, look, it's Nala. She has returned. So as I was watching the movie, I'm hearing some kind of lip smacking type noise or whatever. And then I finally realized Kimbap was eating my goddamn Dubai chocolate, right? And normally I would be upset that he's stealing my food, but obviously my concern was I know that chocolate's poisonous for cats. So I did a quick little research. Thank God for ChatGPT. Actually, Google just did the job for me. And I called an emergency clinic and they're like, yeah, you should probably head over as soon as possible. So I had to scooter my cat over to the nearest emergency clinic and I stayed there until 4 a.m. Because they had to induce vomiting and then they had to inject him with a bunch of shots and then they had to give him some kind of IV drip that took a lot of time for it to get in his system. I guess to like wash out the acidity of the chocolate or something like that. I'm not a doctor. But yeah, so that same day, I just ended up staying up till like 4 a.m. trying to make sure Kimbap stayed alive, you know? Yeah, so anyways, that was the chaos of my day. Or I guess that was the chaos of the weekend. But it is what it is, you know? Yo, we got Obi-Wan Shinobi in the chat. Hey, long time no see. Thanks for being here. Obi-Wan says, glad to see you're safe, brother. Yeah, I'm glad to be safe myself. Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. Thanks for stopping in as well. Listen, the night is young. We'll see how many missiles we can block, right? But it is kind of, I think today I woke up. Oh, yeah. I woke up to like 2 or 3 explosions. They were pretty loud. And then afterwards, the Dubai government, you know, through the social media channel, they like sent out an announcement just to, you know, calm everyone and talk about, you know, what's causing the blast. Basically, these are missiles like high up in the stratosphere and the UAE government's launching their counter, whatever you want to call it, to intercept the missiles. And so I guess the sound I would be hearing is usually, what did they say? I think it's just the blast from the missile breaking the sound barrier is I think what they said. But either way, it shakes the building. It is kind of intense. So I woke up to a few of those blasts and then I don't think I've heard any more since the morning. So hopefully a good sign, right? DTK says, oh, Fed says, sorry, I missed a few chats. DTK says, I love chocolate. Yes, who doesn't? Fed says, we tried the Dubai chocolate in Spain. Is relatively cheap there for some reason or normally priced. It is so expensive in Dubai. It's become a thing. But you know what? As someone who doesn't like really follow a lot of trends, when I had my first Dubai chocolate, I realized how foolish I was of being a contrarian or not like caring about it. It was glorious. It tasted phenomenal. Just like the right amount of crunch and chewiness and like, yeah, I don't know. It's heavenly. So now I understand why it's popping. DTK said that's so sad. Close call. Yeah, I was probably overly cautious. He didn't eat too much chocolate. Usually there's like a threshold where they say it's really bad, but he was fine. I think he's fine. He seems fine. Knock on wood. BD says, I genuinely appreciate the intentionality and action of NYC politically. Now, even though it's very early personally, it's refreshing. Yeah, I think so. I think, look, I'm all for people with strong opinions and like speaking out against bad stuff out there in the world. Aurora says, did she show symptoms of being sick? No. No, he didn't. Like I said, I was just being overly cautious. I know he munched on a bit of a chocolate bar, but I don't think it was enough to be too dangerous. But I just was overly cautious. DTK says, you go blow your nose. Yes, man. Thank you. I really need to. Let me just catch up on the last few here and then just give me like 10 seconds. Obi-Wan says, I genuinely hope this isn't the case for you, my friend. I won't bring politics into your stream, but I'm happy you're okay over there. Listen, you can bring whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want, just as long as you follow whatever the rules are of the platform. But, you know, I'll do my best to kind of weave in and out of things that I feel comfortable talking about or not. It's like, it's not that I don't like to share my politics. One, slightly yes, maybe because I live in a place where I'm not in the States where I can just freely talk about whatever I want whenever I want, right? There's that level of freedom of speech that is not necessarily awarded to me. Not to say UAE is like, you know, cracks down on it heavily or whatever, but I am in a certain part of the world where I do have to be mindful what I say. And then, yeah, I just don't want to necessarily spread a lot of negativity on my streams. Like in a world where you can choose to, you know, surround yourself with positive stuff or negative stuff, it's like, why would you choose the latter? You know, it's your choice. So I figure my choice would be hopefully just have fun, right? Share my things and hopefully spread more inspirations and positive than like the crazy depressing stuff. But yeah. I want some now, says DTK. BD says, glad to hear your cat is okay. Yeah, so far so good, you know. Yeah. Fed says, I love pistachio though, so it makes sense. I liked it. Yeah. Yo, what's happening? Skull Bazaar in the chat says, just checking in, but I gotta go. Thank you for checking in, man. Over on the Twitch and Kick side. Yes, I appreciate it. Fed says, if you stream and have an audience, it makes sense to not go into politics too much. It's just like so controversial. You just got to be careful, right? Because like you say one thing the wrong way at the wrong time, or it gets misconstrued, and you'll end up with, you know, so many people that, because it's touchy subjects, right? For a reason, it impacts people's lives, right? It's just one of those where it's like, I just don't want to have to deal with that either. You know, I'm not big enough to survive some kind of massive hate wave of people wanting to destroy me. Not that, you know, not that I'm going to give them ammo to want to, but yeah, it's just like better to be safe than sorry. Obi-Wan says, exactly, I'd rather focus on the positive, that you're okay, even though there are things happening over there, than rather focus on the negative, the why that is. Yes, exactly. Now, with that positive message, thank you, Obi-Wan, I'm going to go blow my freaking nose. BRB. Okay, my god, that felt so good. I didn't know that the act of blowing your nose could feel... Actually, you know what? Random side topic. I was just thinking of like the top 5 feelings, like memories / like feelings I've ever had in my lifetime. That sounds kind of weird, but what I'm trying to say is there's a moment that I still remember to this day that will go down as like one of the best feelings I've ever felt, and memories, like physically, mentally, all of that. It was, I was doing a backpacking trip through Israel and Palestine back in my college years. I think it was like on in the summer of my freshman year. Basically, I did this kind of backpacking trip, and we were just, it was with some kind of organization, but basically every night we would try to find someone who would who would welcome us into their home and basically let us crash. So literally like a backpack, and then just going from one home to the next. It was really fun. But I remember one time, I forget where we were, but we were taking a bus, and the bus dropped us off. Super hot. It's like a freaking desert. Super hot. And we walked for a long time because we missed one of the signs or whatever. And eventually we finally made it to this town. And I was so parched. I was like sunburned. It was everything. Like we were just walking in the desert sun for however long. And then the first thing we did is we found one of these corner shops, or like a corner store. And I rushed over into one of those like little fridge things and bought a huge ass bottle of the freshest, coldest water. And that feeling, I still remember that feeling when the water hits your lips, and then as it seeps down and goes into your throat and into your body, you literally can feel the cold water traveling through every crevice of your body, right? It's like this weird feeling of like just, and like, you know, it was, I don't know, I'm going a little, okay, who cares? Nobody asked. But it was such a glorious moment of like that, not just like the quenching of your thirst, but also the coldness, because it was so hot, right? So it's cooling you down, it's like refreshing you and all of it, and you can feel as it entered every part of your body. Oh, that's still one of my top memories. Anyways, nobody asked about that. Fed says, this is a wildlife and camera equipment style channel, so there's no real reason to talk politics unless maybe mildly if it's affecting availability of equipment for some reason, etc. Yeah, that is true. Although it is also a travel channel, right? So depending on where I travel, I mean, politics is everything, right? So I could imagine there's a world, like I would love to do travel documentaries, right? And I'm not opposed to going to places or trying to capture stories that are maybe a little bit more dangerous or whatever, like just whatever it might be. Like, not saying I'm gonna go right into a war-torn territory or something, but there's a part of me that would find some value in trying to capture those kinds of stories as well, like very real human stuff. I don't have like a higher calling to do it or anything like that. I'm not some altruistic guy in that sense, but I think there's something to it that I could almost imagine if I could be in that circumstance, I think I would love to capture it, if that makes sense. So like human stories. Yo, it's Nico. Nico says hello. Thank you very much. It's been a while, Nico. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're staying safe wherever you are. Nico asks, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's been, obviously I made it the title of the stream and everything, but yeah, it's been a bit wild in terms of the whole missile crisis. I don't know how to call it. It feels weird to call it the Dubai missile crisis, the Cuban missile crisis, the Iranian missile crisis, whatever the situation is. Yeah, it's been very crazy for sure. I won't like downplay it per se. I only downplay it to my parents. So I keep telling them all is well, but in reality, all is definitely not well. Shit is crazy out here. Okay. Actually, you know what? I have heard explosions. I did a trip to Israel, Palestine a few years back, for a project. And while we were there, we did actually hear explosions like constantly in a certain part of the area that I was in, from like just they're launching strikes and everything back and forth, crazy stuff. But that was like pretty loud because you're right near it. So I guess that was a bit more intense, but that was also a bit more expected. You're in that area. To hear freaking blasts like rattling your building in Dubai, which is like meant to be this whole, they portray it as this, tourism capital of the world and like just shiny toys and all that. To imagine this place being in the center of some kind of crazy shit. It is a little wild for sure. But all is well. Just a few times where the building shakes from the explosions, but like I was telling this earlier, the chances of me dying from one of these missile strikes are like slim to none, okay? So rest assured, it won't happen to me. And like I also said after that, if it happens to me, rest assured, at least I'll die knowing that I'm special, because wow, the chances were in my favor. That's crazy. Aurora says, I thought you will say when you can't go to the toilet, holding it back, and then finally are able to. Yo, I have a bladder of steel, right? I have many, and listen, I'm in my early 30s, actually mid 30s now, basically. And I have friends who, if I go to the cafe with them, if I go to the bar with them, they gotta hit the toilet like every 30, 20 minutes or something. I can stand and drink all I need to, eat all I need to, and just bladder of steel. That's one of my superpowers. So you guys, I don't know if all of you guys, but some of you guys who watched me from my first streams when I went 46 days in a row live streaming, back then I was streaming like 7 to 8 hours every stream. And if you'd watch those streams, there was only, you can count on one hand the number of times I had to BRB because I had to go take a piss. Your boy was made for live streaming, okay? This body was made for live streaming, all right? Although my mind was not made for live streaming because I'm very slow with reading chat. I go on tangents quite a bit. Aurora says, especially with that start. Yeah. Nico says, I finally fixed my PC. Oh, congrats, man. Well, glad to hear that. I mean, that sucks when things break down, especially tech stuff. Hopefully that will free up your endeavors, whatever you're trying to do with the PC. Fed says, yeah, that's what I meant. It affects the ability to travel or get equipment, or maybe if it relates to a documentary you're making. Yep. Nico asks, are you safe where you are? like, listen, yeah, things are safe here. Relatively speaking, I don't know. Listen, yeah, who knows? Who knows? I feel safe, I think. Okay, now I feel weird because I keep saying something to reassure, but then I always add a little caveat at the end. So maybe I don't 100% feel safe, if I'm being honest. But I don't feel concerned at the same time. It's just one of those, life is what it is. So, and like I said, the chances are very slim that anything will happen to me. Aurora says, thinking about that, have you been on safari tours in Africa? Of course I have. Is it true that a ranger with a gun always stays in sight contact, especially at night? Yeah, I think I have some of those moments on film. I definitely have some shots where you can see me traveling, or I filmed different moments where you have rangers with you to keep you safe. So for example, when I do my gorilla treks and the chimpanzee treks, on those encounters, you will have a number of rangers with you. I think initially I thought maybe they were there for the poachers. They might actually be there for poaching, like to protect against poachers. And then I thought like, oh, is it to protect against the gorillas attacking? And I think that's not the situation. It's actually the most risk they run into is running into like a forest elephant. Because apparently the forest elephants are very skittish. And if you come in contact with them, they might charge at you. So the rifles they carry are more for that, not for like the gorillas or the chimps or I don't think for humans. In the safari lodges, once you're in like a safari tent, usually when you're in one of those inside the national parks, you're in the national park. So I'll just go full screen again because I'm just talking. I'm yapping. When you're in the national parks, you're actually in the parks, right? So there is no like quote unquote borders. These tents, these lodges, usually they'll set up their tents, clear, have a bit of a clearing, but oftentimes you're right in the thick of it. So every night when you go to sleep, you will hear the sounds of elephants, of lions, of like leopards going by, hippos crossing over. Like you literally will hear them as they go right past your tent. And I'm not exaggerating. That is literally just part of it. And I have some of those footage as well. Actually, you know what? Should I go find it? Let's go find some. Let's do a bit of video hunting. Let's find these moments. I know there's a few in Zimbabwe. Find me Zimbabwe. Oh, I gotta turn on this freaking thing. Oh, how do I reach my... Okay. Give me a moment. I'm powering things on. DTK says funny. It's funny, but it's the official name. Yeah, it's funny, but it's the official name. That last one when they took out the nuclear facility at night was Operation Midnight Hammer. Yeah. What was this one? It's like Epic Fury or something like that? Jesus, man. Making light of serious things. I guess I'm doing it, but like obviously I'm not the one causing the crazy stuff. Aurora says, I meant when you normally would like to have some privacy. Oh, if I need to take a dump or something? Oh, let me reread your question. Have you been on safari tours in Africa? Is it true that a ranger with a gun always stays in sight contact, especially at night? Okay, the way I read that question, basically even in the lodges, you will have, like, I guess you can call them kind of like security guards. You'll have people patrolling just to make sure people are safe. Or what happens is, like, let's say from your tent, you go to the main common area, like the dining space and all that. So usually it'll be a bit of a walk to get there. So sometimes you literally have to ring them up or like blow a whistle to have one of the staff members approach you with the flashlight and a rifle to then escort you to the common area. And then when you go back to your tent, same thing. You need to be, you have to have a guide with you basically, or like someone to walk with you to keep you safe. Because yeah, like in the dark, usually depending on the lodges you stay, like the pathways will be lit up. It doesn't feel like dangerous, but you just got to be careful because again, there are no borders. There could literally be an elephant right outside. So let me find some of that footage for you. Operation Epic Fury. Yeah, Jesus, those guys. All right, let's see if I can find you some fun shots here. Zimbabwe. Man, we have so many trips to go through, and I'm still sitting on this Mongolia video. I apologize, guys, but you know what? We're just having fun with these streams. If I was just spending these streams editing videos, you know, even that can be a bit much. You got to mix it up. So where would be these elephant shots? Actually, maybe it would be under selfie clips. Zimbabwe. Nope. Me and my gear. No. Give me a moment. Let's see if I can show you some of the rangers. So I think I've shared some of this before. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. My bad. It sounds funny now because of internet meme culture and so on, but in 50 years it will probably sound like any other historical operation name. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can show. Sometimes you might see it in the background somewhere. This is me in Uganda when I was doing a gorilla trek. I was taking a honeymoon couple with me, and I was basically doing my photography video stuff. So this is how I traveled. I've got one camera strapped to me. Then I've got a sling bag where I had a second camera ready to go. And that way I can switch between the lenses. And then you can see here I had a DJI mic. I had a DJI mic attached to my camera strap just to record ambient sound. And then right here, it's hard to see, but this is where the Osmo Pocket was attached to my backpack. So I was filming like all kinds of angles. Here you can see on my head, on my hat, I had an action camera to get some point of view camera footage. What else? And then you gotta wear gloves because there's a lot of like thorns and stuff you gotta be careful of. And when you're doing the gorilla treks, you usually have to you have to wear a mask because what's the word? There's like a word for this, like zoonautical? No, zoo something. But basically we can transmit diseases with gorillas and apes because we share so much in common in terms of like our DNA structure or something, genetics. So, it sounds fun. Oh yeah. Sorry, missiles can't stop you from editing, but apparently I do. Yeah, exactly. You are more powerful than an Iranian missile, or actually it's not just missiles. There have been some videos circulating of like these, what do they call them? Like the something drones that they're using. Kind of crazy world, crazy life. Oh, let me share it with you guys though. So this is the silverback gorilla. Can you guys see? Oh, and there's the baby. It's such a, it's like hard to convey in words that feeling because it's not easy to get these shots, right? You're literally trekking through the jungle for hours on end, and it's not easy. It's grueling. It's muddy. It's whatever. But then when you finally come basically not really face to face, right? I wasn't that insane, but when you come this close to seeing the silverback and just everything, it's like, oh, what a world. And they are really close. And sometimes they're so camouflaged that you don't even notice one of them until they move and like, holy shit, it's right there. But yeah. Imagine how much your new harness would help in that trek. I cannot wait, Fed. I'm so excited to use that harness. You know what? I was saying on the other stream, I might even use that harness as part of my live streams because it's got that little hook. So if I can figure out how to attach the shotgun mic to the harness, then I don't need this annoying microphone arm anymore. I can hide it entirely and just have a little thing on a camouflage vest and just talk to you guys. I think I might still try to do that just for fun. Yo, we got Katzenell and Boggin. Katzenell and Boggin. Man, I love saying that word. The Cat's Cradle says, bro, are you in Dubai? Really? Yes, I am. Cheers. I'm drinking tea today. So I've been filming more of those behind the lens episodes, right? And for right now, most of those episodes you'll see in the beginning, they're largely like I've done a lot of preparation behind the scenes. I'm trying to memorize the keywords, the script. So it's because the first few topics that I'm covering, they're a bit more weighty. Like they're more topics that I think are more interesting, possibly. It's a bit more of my philosophy. It's about me in general. So I want to make sure I say it in the right words. So I've been like doing my best to convey it properly, but that means I'm speaking for a long time in this weird, awkward position where I've got this, my workout bench kind of flat, almost at a parallel to the ground, just slightly inclined, and talking up towards the ceiling. Even that, for some reason, I'm realizing this now, it's not easy. Like your vocal cords, everything is just operating differently than it is when I'm standing straight like this. So anyways, I bought this tea that's called the Throat Coat tea. Because I have to, yeah, anyways, why am I talking about this? You didn't ask about this. You said, am I in Dubai? Yes, I am. I'm still here, alive, doing our thing. Fed says, yeah, it's weird when you traverse like that and suddenly you see something to film after a long time hiking and you have to change mode to filming mode in your head and try to relax and film. Yeah. And this is why I really do like these action cameras, because it's like a set it and forget it. I hit the record button, I go right into the experience, and I don't have to remember to record something. So in some ways, it is a facet of the experience that I highly recommend for people in these moments. Because that way you can just kind of take a breath. You don't have to photograph everything with your professional, Nikon ZR cameras or whatever. You can just kind of take a pause and let it all in. Soak it all in, enjoy the moment, the sounds, the smell, the magic of just like being immersed, right? And the action cameras just kind of give you that level of space to do it. Kavai, what's happening? Kavai's in the chat, says, hello, you're alive. Yes. Are the plane travels still okay or canceled going forward? It's still canceled. So I was joking about this earlier, Kavai, but I guess it's a good thing that I wasn't able to figure out the trip to Norway, because I was supposed to be flying out there on the 4th of March, most likely. So that wouldn't have worked out. But yeah, thanks for noticing that I'm alive. I'm living, breathing for now. But yeah, life is crazy. That's all I'll say. Fed says, that's how I have the ZR setup. That's how the ZR is set up. I just press record and point it and zoom if needed. Yo, that's the other thing I was thinking about doing. Give me a second. The other thing I was thinking of, let's pause this video. I want to show. So it was part of the cotton carrier thing when we were researching it, right? So the cotton carrier, blah, blah, blah. But there was like this one thing that I saw. Maybe it's on B&H. Ah, here it is. Cotton carrier steady shot. This thing here. I saw this and I'm thinking like, is this something I should consider? Because holy crap, I can see some really good use out of this. Well, you know what? Let's watch this. 32 seconds. Let's see. So we know about the cotton carrier now. Let's see how he uses this little contraption. And also let me increase the quality. Oh, this is... Okay, so he was walking around with this, then he somehow... Okay, so he attaches it to his vest. My hope is that this thing is compatible with the vest that I have now. I would hope so, right? It's the same company. But if I can buy this thing, I can see a world where I attach the ZR with like a wide-angle lens, right? I can see the use with like a telephoto as well, but imagine a wide-angle lens, and that way, if I'm in a vehicle... I saw the use for the dog sledding, because I was like, oh, if I'm not walking around, it could just like be there and my hands would be free. Let's see. Oh, also, it would mean I don't need a monopod. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I need to purchase some monopods. But this could actually replace the monopod, right? Hold on a second. Wait, I need to rethink this. Couldn't this actually replace the monopod? When do you need the monopod? You're on a hike, something happens, boom, you set it up. But the point is you set it up so you can have a stable shot at eye level. But isn't this doing the job, right? Because if you get this thing set up, your camera will be roughly eye level. So boom, job's done. You look absurd, but I mean, I'm okay with that. That's like a given. I can override focus manually or press the auto track, etc. But if I just press record, it finds focus and films. Yeah. Took a while to get the autofocus set right though. Kavai says all travels out of UAE are canceled for you now, so those upcoming 3 project videos are on halt. I'm not sure. For now, it's canceled. I'm hoping, obviously I'm hoping, for not just selfish reasons, but for just life reasons, humanitarian reasons. I do hope things calm down and get resolved sooner rather than later. So we'll see, right? Because the first trip that I have planned, it's most likely not until middle of March. So I've got about a couple weeks before that planned trip is supposed to happen. So we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. Anything can happen, right? Things can get better. It can get worse. If it get either way, you just roll with the punches, right? You accept life is life. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. But hopefully my trips will go as planned. But yeah. Fed says, yeah, for hikes, that is better than a monopod. Set the camera to sports mode stabilization. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So then, you know, it's just there. You hopefully get some steady shots. It might not work so well when I'm walking for footage. That one I might still maybe need to handhold it. I'm not sure, but it could actually, it could be interesting. Yeah, because I did a bit of that. Maybe we can show some of that as well. They need to fix the airport too. They messed up parts of it. Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty minor damage though. From what I read, it was a bit superficial in terms of the damage. A few people got injured though. But yeah. All right. Anyways, let's keep watching this. So he's got his eye level shot. Oh, is that it? That's all you're gonna show me? Oh, okay. That was actually very, very useful. Boom. Now, I don't know how much he practiced, but it looks like they filmed it in a way that it looks like it's so easy to attach this guy to your chest. So it's like, oh, you don't even have to wear it, but then boom, just like strap it on, you're ready to go. And then how quickly does it take to set up the camera onto the thing? Oh, that was a little bit of a shifty, shady editing. They didn't show how long it took. Just cut it there. I'm assuming it's pretty reasonable though. It's, so this might be something I should consider purchasing, because I do see that this could have a lot of value. Assuming it works properly, assuming it can hold a heavy camera, and if it can somehow give me the stability. It seems clear that if I'm not moving, it'll be stable. And then if I'm walking, the question becomes, will that be somewhat stable as well? Anyways, we were watching some gorilla video here. Life must be unpredictable. Yeah, life is always unpredictable. And for dog sled, this vest already is high enough above the sled handle. Handle's about hip height. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Either I would attach the camera to the handle itself, or if I had this contraption, I would just attach it to the vest. And then hands-free, I can do what I need to. So I'm excited. At some point, we're going to make this dog sledding trip happen, right? So I just got to figure out the right timings now and just all the other reassessments needed. So right now you're watching the moment when I was filming these gorillas. I'm trying to remember what happened. This is like shortly before I did have a crazy encounter where one of the gorillas, as it was walking by, it tried to grab one of the ranger's guns. I think he tried to grab his gun. I think I got it on camera. It wasn't like the cleanest shot, but I think I got a few angles of it. Let's see. There's the silverback. Yeah, this moment here. So I think I somewhat got it on my camera, but you can see I was in a very awkward position. I just had my arm extended to try to capture it. But you can see there's a gorilla right there. And then, let's see. That gorilla, as it's walking by, it tries to grab his gun or machete. Oh, it's a machete. Yeah, you can even see it there. Dude, the cojones, the balls on this gorilla, man. Reaches over, tries once, fails, and then goes back for a second attempt. You can see that freaking machete, man. What the hell? Can you imagine seeing a gorilla running away with a machete or a freaking AK-47 or something? Dude, I'd be terrified. That's the silverback again. Fed says, I often use the monopod set loose as well, and it works fine with mild stabilization like sports mode, but really with the ZR, I think handed with sports mode and lens VR is enough. Yeah. Kavai says, best to use the vest because the sled might fall during your trip. Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard it's you got to be a bit skilled for that. It depends on the situation. If you trek around a lot, it can be harder to stop and suddenly hold the camera steady. Yeah. I'm going to start editing, but just tell me what you think of the footage later. Oh, thank you, DTK. Sorry, yeah, we didn't get to it. Yeah, let's get to it now. Sorry, I was so wrapped up just doing random stuff. So like I said, thank you guys. Thanks for the well wishes. Listen, I'm just living life in Dubai, not doing anything crazy. If shit goes down, well, listen, some of you guys, I'll donate my gear to you. Okay, how about that? Not that I want you guys to wish me to die so you can have my gear. Okay, let me rethink what I just said. I don't want you guys to give Iran my coordinates, okay? You mentioned some video. All right, let's check this out. So DTK coming in hot with some videos that he made. Okay, so this is DTK's. So basically, DTK asked if I had one of my raw files of the Nikon ZR, what is it, the 12-bit R3D codec file, so that he can practice color grading on it. So yeah, this was his attempt. So you can see here, this is the raw footage, and then boom, that's with his color grading. Well done, man. It looks great. Fantastic. Hopefully you found it easy to work with. I have no idea because I've only used just a few things. I've only color graded NRAW and now this, right? I've done occasional random like S-Log thing or like with the DJI stuff. So I don't have much experience with the different formats and the codecs. But yeah, I found working with the Nikon or the ZR raw files quite easy. Handles well. And then let's check this out. Nice. Yo, good. I mean, your colors always look good. Good job, man. DTK, shout out to him. He's always making me realize I need to be better at what I do because he's only 13 years old. So what's my excuse, right? So, thank you, DTK. You said you'll be listening to the whole stream. Well, hopefully you heard that. Good job, man. All right, what was I gonna do? Listen, we can do the. Actually, let's just. Now I'm curious. We're down memory lane here. Let me just see what other footage I have of the gorillas. So this was all captured with either my. This is with the Insta360 X3. Maybe X4. Might have been X4. Here's where the gorilla walks by. The silverback himself. Man, nothing will prepare you for the moment when you come face to face with the silverback. It is like... They look tiny on this camera, but in reality, holy, you know? Yeah, so here I am. This is how I travel. So I'm very curious now how my setup will be. Now that I have my Pidgeotech backpack, I'll have the cotton carrier vest. I have my Nikon ZR, and I still haven't decided. Most likely I would travel with the ZR and the Z9. So yeah. Oh man, if I can get my hands on the Nikon Z9 Mark II whenever that comes out, ooh. I told you guys I did reach out to the Nikon team to see if they would be willing to let me test the new 70-200, and they're like, yeah, for sure. I don't know when, but yeah, of course. So I was like, oh, cool. My Fed says my grandparents were children during 5 years of occupation by the Germans in WW2, but they didn't stop living their lives. Though it was more of a struggle to have enough food and such, of course. Yeah, exactly. It's always like a good reminder that life can be infinitely more difficult and rough and all of that. So it's like, for not to say that you shouldn't complain or anything like that. Like, everyone's problems are real. It's your problems, your life. But it's like a nice reminder sometimes, like, people have gone through worse and survived. They've also gone through less worse and died. So it's just like the luck of the draw. But in some ways it's kind of encouraging that it's like, okay, I can survive this. All right, anyways, these are some shots. So what are we gonna do? It is almost 9 p.m. Like I said, today's stream, I honestly didn't know if I was going to be too productive today, just because, again, life is crazy. But I do need to get finished with this. This has been sitting for however long. We made some progress, so I want to kind of refresh. Let's just kind of quickly see what we got and see where we need to start off. Katzenell and Boggin says, do you own any anamorphic lenses? I don't. I didn't even know that term existed until I got the... August last year. Man, I don't know anything about filmmaking. I can't say that anymore, but I'm fairly new to understanding the world of filmmaking and the equipment that's required to make the really artistic shots and stuff like that. So I didn't know about anamorphic until I had the opportunity to film with the Nikon ZR. And then as I filmed and as I got more into it, then I learned about this concept of like, oh, filmmakers, Hollywood, they like to use this anamorphic lens. So, okay. I would love to own some though. DTK says, do you have time to try to color grade? Well, yeah, actually, I don't know what you're talking about, but in terms of color grading what, but right now I need to focus on finishing this video. And then after that, I'm going to do the color grading. So probably not by today, if I'm being honest. The Z9 II is a conspiracy theory. Anyone who believes this needs to be taken to a mental hospital. Damn. Those are strong words. What do you mean it's a conspiracy? You're saying it's never going to happen? Or, yeah. DDK says that vertical clip. All right. Thanks, by the way. Good luck. No worries. Thank you again. Thanks for being here, Mr. DTK. All right. Let's go ahead and let's do some work. Why not? Refresher, palette cleanser. DTK says I'm gonna start editing. See ya. Have fun. Enjoy your editing. Fett says looks like we're filming the next short movie on Wednesday. Oh, nice, man. I should just give you these files so you can edit for me, so we can finally be done with this. All right, then this plays out, blah, 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 something, something, something. We continue to blah, context, 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 wow, eagle in flight, all the things that, you know, it tells us about the world, boom, 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 and then it lands. Okay, so I'll skip through that because we already kind of know all of this. Then we got the second verse. It was vacation week for kids last week, so my buddy, the actor, was up in the mountains skiing with his girlfriend and her kids all last week, so now we finally have time. Them damn kids, man. Always gotta ruin everything, right? Am I right? Okay, so the only thing I wanted to change on this one was I think I want this clip to start a little bit sooner. So, what to do? Maybe we extend that out. Okay, so is this the one we landed on then? So the next intermission, get like an eagle flight. So while this is happening, I give it a bit more of that context again. So blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think we're happy with that, right? So now we move on to the next chapter. So instead of homestead, I think maybe I gotta think of a different word. Homestead just feels a little too awkward to me now. This is just family? Maybe is it just the family? I don't know. I don't know. We'll go with the family for now. I don't know. Maybe that sounds weird too. Fez says, I'm going to be shooting it with the Nikon 1650 DX lens. I need it for a wide shot plan. Ooh, nice, nice. And this one, obviously, we got to change the quote. So all of this moment, because it's so shaky as I was moving closer and stuff, maybe it's best to have B-roll throughout this, and then maybe I can switch back to her singing at some point and then go back to B-roll. Okay, so then after that ends, what do we got next? After that, we've got maybe another one of these intermission scenes. Oh yeah, I was saying that this might be the one I show. So I don't know yet, because this one could work as the other intermission, and then I guess I could show this one instead. You know what? I just have to not overthink it. So I think this is probably good. Then let's now move to, yeah, so we got the next chapter here.
Artık sözge ecelde mevesim yok. Ölüm dese sayraydı gönlüm köri. Şahsı bolsan ağayın, kör almağan, kör almağan. Şaman bolsan ağayın, bir almağan, bir almağan.
And so basically throughout all of this is where I would put all of the B-roll of like the crazy snowstorms and all the blizzard effects and stuff like that to show the resilience that basically the people that live out here have to withstand or to possess, I guess. And then there's a hard cutoff, so I'm assuming I would just have to reduce the sound and then fade to black. Okay, so then this shot here is what we said we're replacing because we've already shown this. Or this will be... Wait, did I show this? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Oh yeah, because then what we would show instead is the snowstorm blizzard riders. Okay, so we won't show that. And then we get the farewell. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So generally speaking, I'm okay with the structure. Now let's just move to setting up all the B-roll. And where are you? No, not this. There we go. Let's do some cinematic chill music. So what did I say before? We either start with a bunch of shots of the food, then go to some of the shots of the kids, or what? I think maybe I should start with some kind of establishing shot or something about the home. So like one of these kind of wide angle shots initially. Maybe like, yeah, maybe one of these. Yeah, it could be this one. Walking in, seeing the home. And then it can jump to showing them making the food. So I think I have a few of these clips where they're making the food. Then it could be the shot where we're all digging in together. So like when they're doing the prayers beforehand. Then it could just be a bunch. Yeah, so we have two shots where they're doing some prayers. Then it's just like a lot of close-ups of the food. Kind of in a rapid succession. And then what do we end with? Oh yeah, and then we end with like some of these like happy kid shots or whatever. Time lapse. Then nice happy kid shots. And then what would be the final clip? Yeah, one of those happy kid shots. And then maybe seeing them being happy here. And then that's it. Yeah, and then it just jumps back to the original shot. All right, enough talking. Let's figure this out. So, the first shot I need... Where is it? Where's the one I was just looking at? This one. So because I'm so shaky, it's either, based on the song, I feel like I either started right as she starts singing, or it comes too late. So somewhere around here. There's too much of walking in between. The problem is I started the footage just a little too late, so you barely see the kid. Because obviously there's like a nice kind of cutesy moment as you're entering the home, but I don't have enough of it to like really. It's literally just that, and that's not enough to showcase and to like kind of wait through this. You know, seeing the filter change and then waiting to see the home shot. So there might be a better opening shot to consider. Let's see. What do I got? give me a better... It could also be from the outside. Let me think. Let me think. Is it like an outside view of the home? Because we're calling it the home. Ooh, I feel like this shot... Okay, hold on. This might be more for the resilience shot. At some point here where you see it turning and stepping outside. Because now you see, obviously, with the wind and the snow being kicked up, it feels a bit more dramatic. So that feels like something that shows the resilience. So yeah, we'll save that for the other chapter. Dog shot. Would a dog shot make sense to start with? Come on, come on.
Bir numaralı sizde de yükselttiğinizde siz 5 yıl durarak çağırırsınız. Çağırırsınız.
I need a home shot. A home shot that is a nice opener. Dun, dun, dun. Not sure if I'm going to find it. Let's see. These are all the eagle shots outside. We've used these shots already, some of them. Oh, we need this one. Wait, did I miss this one? So we got, oh, food preparation. Oh, we got a nice eagle in the home. That could be an interesting one. So let me drag these two over. Oh man, how did I miss these shots? So we have more shots when they're making food. This could also be a nice opening, because it kind of gives off, obviously, like they're in the home, they're making homely food or home cooked food. Okay, so let's drag these ones over. What else? What else am I missing? These are all outdoors. Drone. Okay. Ooh, could this be one? So it's like entering the home, but it's not really, it's not the best footage to show. I feel like there's a few shots that I have that I can maybe like kind of BS my way into saying like, oh, it can kind of work for the shot. So for example, I could have a shot like this where you see a dog approaching me, because then it's kind of indirectly conveys a bit of like home feel, because like obviously this dog is, you know, approaching you inside the house kind of a feel. So it's like welcoming you. It's like a domesticated dog kind of thing. It's like it's a bit of a stretch. So like, does it really fit into a home theme? I don't know. The basketball court or this thing kind of does, or it's just, but this thing is kind of stands on its own as like a interesting shot, but not necessarily for any theme besides it's just a more artistic shot kind of a thing. Yeah, so I'm not feeling those ones. These are all driving. This is when we left. Okay. So I guess that is all we have. Oh, I guess we have these, but I don't know if we're going to end up using any of this. Let's see. It's more like community vibes anyways. Oh, but we do have some good ass food here. All right, I want to keep these ones in mind because I feel like I really like this color grading that I applied here, and I have no idea what I used. So, save that. Okay, so let me grab these guys first. Let's drop it all the way to the beginning. I think there should be some space here. Oh shit, there was not. Okay, let's grab the ones I was just looking at. Where was it? This one's? Okay. All right, now let's reassess what is the first shot that I show. Yeah, that's a little too abrupt, and the problem is if I fade it in, the cute moment with the girl in the beginning is gone. So we won't start with that one. What should we start with? I guess, oh yeah, maybe it could be this shot here. Just like this kind of side pan. So now you get these, you got the instruments. Obviously we're in someone's home. It's a little bit more of a homely vibe. And then it kicks over to all of us here, or as we get ready. So like, let's see if it's just this part here. I don't even know how long it is. Let's see. Drag this biatch over here. Yeah, no, we don't need too much of that. Okay, so let's say if we cut it from here, so just a little bit of that home vibe. And then what do we kick to?
Thank you.
This one we probably don't use anymore. Oh, what if we... Okay, hold on. This could be a better shot. Well, it's a more exciting shot at the very least. So let's see. So instead of this one, what if we use this? We just use some moment from this. Yeah, so some moment like that. Let's see. Come on. I think maybe the ending part. I don't want like too much of a close-up because I kind of want to reveal the background like we're inside the home. Let's see. Yeah. You know what? I keep falling to the same freaking trap. I keep saying I'm not trying to be a perfectionist, and then I get hung up over like every single second. So let's just assume this might be an okay start. Okay. So then if we start with something like this. Next clip that comes after should be maybe this one. Okay, so now we get a bit of food prep shots. find the right moment. Ooh, something like that. Get a little bit of motion in there, so it could be from here. Probably just need this part here. I don't think we need the rest. Let's see. Maybe seeing her face could be nice, just to humanize it. Let's see. Do we show 2 moments? Let's figure this out. Nah, I think 1 moment's enough. Let's just figure out where. So we're okay with ending it here, but we don't need the turning of the camera. So end it here, and then start it here. Okay, making progress. Let's do another cooking moment. These 2 moments. You know what? I feel like part of me says it's okay to just have these longer shots, just to show a bit more of like their traditions. So I think like even just showing how they make this could be nice. And there's a bit of like color change and everything, so. Although I guess only this part's really that important. Hold on. So maybe. Okay, so we see the making of the food, and now we get into the prayer hands. So we get Mr. Prayer Hands here, and then there's one more prayer hands, and then digging in. I might have to show that later, because right now I think sequentially there's a few of these shots that kind of fit together. So let's start with this one. What next? What next? Maybe this one next? Shit. Okay, listen, I feel like I'm making it the right direction here, but also it is almost 9:30. I did mean to stream a little bit shorter today, as I mentioned, the past few days have been a bit kind of crazy, so my sleep schedule, everything has been a little bit off. Catching up on some of the work stuff has also been slightly delayed, so I do want to, let's see, 9:30, yeah. This is probably a good time for me to start to wind down a bit. We didn't get a lot done today. But I'm hoping, you know what, I might try to do some of these editing off stream because I do want to kind of get this done. I want it done. Like, I enjoy, obviously, my trip to Mongolia, but I know this is like basically, it's like a toilet. No, I guess it's like your bowel system. Syndrome. Bowel, what would you call this? It's like there's a clog and there's all this stuff that needs to get through, but the clog is blocking it all. Unfortunately, right now, this video is the clog, because I've been taking way too much my sweet ass time on this. So if I can get this done, we have so many other trips that I need to get through to creatively also kind of think about how I'm gonna capture this. And then who knows, even with my editor, try to see if he can help me out with some of these kind of like shorter edits or different clips. So anyways, I'm gonna try to get this done within the week. Okay, that is our new goal. And like when I look at the timeline, I feel pretty good about it. There's just a few things, like I said, bits and pieces of like maybe soundtrack and then my voiceovers, but now I'm much more comfortable with the voiceover concepts. So it's just and I have a better microphone. Last time I wasted so much time just recording it and trying to clean up everything. Now it should be easy peasy. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this. So let me take a pause from that. Let's start to wind down a bit. Are my cats here? Let's see. Kimbap is still dipping somewhere. Who knows where? But we got Nala over here, being a good girl. Oh, did I have the... Do I have this on autofocus? There we go. So yes, Nala's just hanging out here with me. And yeah, we're going to be relaxing for the rest of the day. Thank you guys again. Even as we've been streaming, I've got a few people who've reached out to me. Just, you know, just people checking in on me, which is very nice. Strangers, people I know. It is kind of cool to see people do care for what it's worth. But like I said, I don't think life is crazy enough. I don't think I'm I don't think I'm gonna be in the thick of it all. Yeah, but I will keep you guys posted if things go crazy. Look, I'll be on that Discord, so if you want to get updates on crazy shit happening over here in Dubai, I'll put in my Discord link. Feel free to join. I'll pop in a few messages here and there, just if something goes crazy. Right now, it's just been occasional, you know, missile blast sounds and like that feeling of it. But thankfully, it seems like the UAE government's doing a fine job of keeping us safe. So no complaints there. All right, 9:32 p.m. Thank you guys. I'm gonna, most likely I should be streaming tomorrow. We'll keep it the same thing, right? Assuming nothing crazy happens. Tomorrow is March 3rd. Yeah, we're gonna do our same thing. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys probably same time tomorrow. Cheers, everyone.